What's here, y'all? Let's talk about Flying Mohawk. What a great name, right? This is another one of the enigmatic contenders, and still not overly certain that this one's going to run, but pretty sure that he will. Trained by Whit Beckman, who had Honor Marie last year, who was a bit disappointing, but leading up to the Derby, certainly was one that seemed to be headed in the right direction. Uh, this one finished second in the Jeff Ruby Stakes on synthetic, and of course, we all know that a lot of horses moving from Turfway do fire well when they get on conventional dirt. However, the biggest problem we have with Flying Mohawk, of course, is we don't know what his dirt form is. Taking a look at the pedigree, Caraconti provides plenty of stamina on the top end by Bernstein. But down underneath, Bonbon Fleur, this is her first full Flying Mohawk, and by Twirling Candy, who's more of a miler. And going through the pedigree, honestly, really didn't find much in the way of stamina. Change in Control, I believe, was one of America's Blossom or Runway Rosie's get. I can't remember which, but was a very prominent horse, but was more of a turf sprinter, and that seems to be the case. It's mostly turf sprinters. So from that perspective, and you look at the average winning distance, which is below 7 furlongs, not a lot of stamina underneath. However, the conduit mare profile speaks a little differently. You see it's heavily skewed towards stamina with a 16. And then you look at the triads, 14, 18, 21. That indicates quite a bit of stamina. So, kind of a mixed bag. Kind of can go either way. Whether or not this one's going to get the distance, I'm not overly certain. What would be more of a concern is that it's not necessarily the preferred surface, which I would think would compromise Flying Mohawk's chances to get 10 furlongs. Now, turf horses do run better at Churchill, and certainly, one thing we haven't mentioned, and that happened with Patio Prado a few years ago for Dale Romans, when the Derby was run in the mud. Turf horses on a wet track, you can definitely upgrade as ones that'll handle it okay. Dry track, maybe not so much, but just something to keep in the back of our minds that if it is wet, then maybe we can upgrade the chances for Flying Mohawk as well as Final Gambit, our two horses who haven't run on conventional dirt. Taking a look at the running lines, there's some concerns here. The one I would say a positive is you do see the Brisnet speed figures getting progressively better with every start. That certainly is a positive. However, one of the things, you've heard me harp on it all the time about class rating as opposed to race rating. You see all those efforts prior to the Jeff Ruby. Now, granted, there was some time off between the Jeff Ruby and Flying Mohawk's other races, so there may have been some growth and maturity in there. But he seemed to be kind of stuck at 115, which is not terribly high and won't cut it in the Derby. And the races he was running in were kind of okay, but not top quality class level, race level races. However, in the Jeff Ruby, he came off the bench and ran a very solid second to Final Gambit. You see that he does have, on occasion, some problems in the gate, and that certainly is a big issue. You just can't be expected to do well in the Derby if you have any problems with the gate. So we'll see if they school him in the paddock and can work that out. The other thing is that you get a Brisnet high in the Jeff Ruby that's significantly higher than anything he had run before. And that's kind of a red flag. That may mean a regression coming off the bench. Sometimes there's a letdown after that as well. So mixed bag, not overly excited about it. You do see that Whit Beckman is very good from all weather to dirt at 18%. So that's a positive as well. One of the things that I thought was encouraging was the work tab. And you go back and you can see prior to the Jeff Ruby, I mean, he got a 15 out of 110 at the fairgrounds on March 7th for 4 furlongs. So, I mean, I would say maybe that lends itself to saying that dirt would be okay. You see a couple others back in February that lend themselves to think that he's pretty good on dirt. So there's a little something there, but it's hard to trust. Just everything I'm looking at, uh, it's really hard to get excited about Flying Mohawk going into the Derby. So the positives, well, his best race was his last one, and it was coming off the bench, and it was a career high number, albeit on synthetic. So that's a positive. The negatives, of course, can he run on dirt? We just don't know. And the pedigree doesn't really speak to it, particularly on the dam side. The top end, a 97 Brisnet figure, he'll need to get much faster than that in order to be prominent in this Derby. And then the other thing is, I have a feeling they'll be taking this one back. And then you have to ask yourself, does he have too much to do late? I have a feeling he probably will. I can't see them rating this horse or getting him up amongst the leaders, particularly when he's never run on dirt. So, to me, the outlook would have to be skewed towards the negative for Flying Mohawk. I think he's a nice horse. I'm really looking forward to seeing him running later on turf. But right now, I'd say he's probably on the outside looking in for this year's Derby. So that's Flying Mohawk. We'll have more profiles coming up. We've got a few left, got quite a few out there right now. I encourage you to take a look at them. And certainly, if you do like content like this, please like and subscribe. And again, thanks so much for all of you who continue to grow the community and keep the comments coming. We'll have our elements of handicapping once we've concluded with our Derby profiles. And we're going to do that for the Oaks as well. So plenty of more content coming your way from right at the wire. So stay tuned. That's it from here. I'll talk to you soon. And until then, be well.